So welcome everyone to yoga at Bonnevaux, yoga in the barn, contemplative yoga. Yeah. So I hope these classes have been helpful if you've been coming to a bunch of them, and if this is your first time, I hope you find your way into the rhythm of what we're doing. So far, since the lockdown in March, we've had classes most Tuesdays, and they're all online on a link. So you should have received that link via my mailing or the meditation community mailing. And if you haven't, just let us know. You can write in via the website. I think there's an email called contacts or events or something like that. And okay, so we have a class this evening and a class next Tuesday, and then there'll be a break for Christmas. But we will announce that next Tuesday, exactly how long that is, and it'll be in the mailings also. So let's start lying down. Last time we did a lot of work standing, and so you can lie on your backs. And you'll see from the classes that there is only 3 or 4 themes essentially that we've been covering. And I repeat them and I go around, or I look at them from another angle, and then they interrelate. But the key theme is to relax into a practice that invites us into a space where we are moving and we're trusting that over time we are not only making friends with our bodies, but we are recovering the reality that we're the expert on our own bodies. It's our body. So medicine and biology can say important things, but we shouldn't abdicate, being the person who is the embodied person with that body and that name. So that's really the first thing, and I think it's kind of huge. It's the big elephant in the room, because normally what happens with movement things, and definitely in the yoga world, is that it can become a very competitive thing where you keep going to more complicated things, which could be wonderful, but if it's done in the wrong spirit, you end up looking at yourself and performing and even competing. Whereas the contemplative life is always hinting at us that life is about participation. It's not about performing. Never was, never will be. You will never earn grace by performing good deeds. It's about throwing ourselves into life, and we need our bodies behind us. So yoga is, the physical side of yoga, hatha yoga, is there to help us with that. Help us meditate better, but also just to be more oriented in life, more happy and serve for meditation. So that's the first thing, which I've been calling nearness. Just learning to be near with yourself. It's got nothing to do with self-consciousness or self-fixation. It's a basic human thing. We lost sound? Okay.
Just learn to be near with yourself. Nothing to do with self-consciousness or fixation.
Yeah, so sorry if when the TGV goes by, that's one thing we've discovered. It's definitely not nearness, it's fastness and going to Bordeaux or Paris. And it takes the internet with it because it's nearby. So that's we lost sound. So nearness, yeah, that's really something wonderful, I think. Learning to move, learning to chop carrots or go for walks, just to relax into the way you do it. And some of us live with pain or complicated biological issues and so on. And then the second thing that we've been working with is our sense of weight. So as you lie on the floor, or if you've been sitting up listening and you want to stay sitting, or you're sitting in a chair, just not lining ourselves up and getting all perfectly symmetrical, but just lying on the floor, and through the weight, getting used to feeling what's needed, not looking at perfect alignment, but feeling what's needed. None of us are symmetrical, so what's needed is never a symmetrical reality. But you may feel that, let's straighten our legs. You may feel that, first of all, your head may need support, just a little bit of support, a folded blanket or a book under your head, or your lower back may need a little bit of support, a little rolled up something under your lower back, just so that you're touching and resting on it, or your neck, or under your knees. So we don't need to use tons of props, but sometimes it helps us learn what's going on. So I can feel that a tiny bit of support under my head is a good thing. And I can see Henriette has that kind of support. Here, you look good. Are you comfortable? Yeah. But here, let's see, I think here we could have a little bit of j'arrive. What's that? Yeah. So the support that you need, wherever you need it, so that we can relax into the way gravity makes all the different parts of our bodies fall to the ground. And it's very different from vertical posture. When you lie down, all the parts go directly to the ground. So let's just, as we lie there and we listen into the weight, and we stop looking at ourselves and wondering if we're doing it right, just allow your head to begin to rock a little bit from side to side. It can rock or roll or judder, faster, slower, bigger, smaller. You can zoom in and really be inside the bones of your neck. Or you can zoom out a bit and be more the ground, as if you are receiving your body on the floor. So the weight, the head is rocking. Release the jaw and just allow yourself to swallow a few times. The breath, the weight, the relationships of the parts. The relationships are more real and more helpful as you get to know them than some kind of ideal body that should be in something like that over there. So just as you rock your head, just feel the relationship between the head, which is a big, heavy, round coconut thing, and the chest, which is a kind of basket. And just feel how they pull, how they connect. As you rock your head, maybe you can feel how it moves your chest a bit. Something happens in the shoulders. Don't have a position for your chin. You don't need to tuck your chin in or pull your chin up. Length will start to happen, but it's not connected to flattening the back of your neck. Although if you want to do that, just to feel, go ahead, but then let go. And the breath and the weight and nearness. And let's just allow the eyes to be barely open, just enough so that you're inside and outside. And the head is rocking, and we're going to let the fingertips, the ends of your fingers, take your arms up. So the fingers take the hand, which takes the forearm, which takes the whole arm, And then even the shoulder blades come off the floor. And then we release the elbows and drop the arms. And again, wobbling the head a bit, letting some olive oil into the body, then the fingertips, the hand, the forearm, the whole arm. And let the arm lift. The arms are like wings that are floating up, and the shoulder blades follow. And then the ribs seem to almost begin to lift off the ground. And now I'm going to let my arms come completely across my chest. See what I'm doing? So it's not like this, but like this. Right across, right across. And the hands go round the chest, and we find the edges of the shoulder blades and the ribs, and we just open the palm of the hand. And heavy arms over your breastbone, maybe sliding a little up towards your chin, so don't worry, but heavy, yeah. And then we're going to bend the right leg. You can remember we've done this a lot of times. Let it roll out and let it slide up. Don't need to pick it up. Huge foot on the ground. Then we let the left leg roll out and slide up. Huge left foot touching the ground. Feet rooting into the ground, and you can see me here. I'm rolling from left to right, and it's as if my arms are rolling my rib cage. And you'll notice that you roll over clunky bits and hard bits and delicious bits that are releasing the breath, the lungs, the heart, rolling through the rib cage. You can go quite far onto the left. I'm reaching with my right arm. I'm gently teasing myself over with my left hand. And then my head went over. Now I'm rolling the other way. My left arm, yeah. My right hand teasing my left shoulder blade. Breath. Yeah, breath. Letting the weight pour around that rib cage back there and through the ribs. Every rib is coming in between two vertebrae, and it's meeting in a very rich series of places. Yeah. So it's a complex world. It's very alive. Every place where a rib and a vertebra meet is like a mini little cherubim in there with wings and intelligence and life. And in between the ribs and vertebrae, there are discs that are also very alive. And I'm just rolling from side to side. You can speed it up a little. So I roll and reach. You can see if you have a look. I roll and I reach with my arms. And I roll. We've been rolling quite a bit the past few weeks. So no effort. It's not a sit up. Jane Fonda is not being evoked just yet. Saint Jane de la Fonda. Yeah, just roll and reach. Keep it relaxed. And yeah, very nice. Yeah. Yeah. So you could roll with your whole body, but also you could roll with less of legs and pelvis. Keep going, Henry. Yeah, that's it. So that's it. So you really make your upper body roll. Yeah. You feel the difference? Yeah. So it's just the upper body. Yeah, so you don't end up doing the sea cucumber yoga moment. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So it's like from the belly button up, and from the belly, you feel?
Yeah.
And from the belly button down. C'est bien. Mais continue, continue. Mais pas ici. Yeah, that's it. And sound. Oh, that's it. Roll. Yeah. Okay, have a rest. Have a rest.
So many clicks.
So many what?
Clicks.
Yeah, clicks are good. Clicks are good. Breath. Enjoy where you are. Yeah. That world of ribs and vertebrae and breastbone, that whole wicker basket, which we call the chest, is an extraordinary place of intelligence. And it's a very, very old place in the body because it's part of that old original first curve that you are in the womb. So now, same thing, bend your legs, same thing, let your arms float up, let your arms cross over, maybe change arm position if you haven't already, so it's the other one on top. You may need to look, but I'll also talk you through it. So now, we're not going to do a sit-up, but we're going to roll a little to the right and lift the rib cage. So like I'm lengthening back there, and I'm leaning on my right ribs. And big feet, and I come down, and then I lift onto the left a little. And I'm really leaning, breathing, noticing, lengthening, pouring the weight back down. Pour the weight into the right side, lift the head a little, don't struggle, it's not a sit-up. Calm back down. Pour onto the left, lift, breathe, move the head. Ha. If you can't make a ha sound, you are entering constipated yoga state, which is also called boga. And never led to enlightenment, but it did lead to really severe constipated bowel problems. No, I don't know about that. There's no documentation on what I just said. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yes. The breath, the weight. Beautiful. That's enough. Don't do too much. And then just let your arms flop open and just rest. Rest wide. And as we breathe, just noticing what's different. Noticing what's different. Noticing what's different. The breath. The weight. And what's wonderful is you don't really ever need to start by thinking about your breath, like, oh, my breath should be in my belly. No, not at all. If you give over to gravity and you are just near, so you step a little bit away from watching and correcting, you will begin to notice that there is a wave to the breath. There is an undulation between the in and the out that you are humbly here to learn about. It's not for us to rush in and tell the breath, who knows so much about our deep processes, what to do. No, not at all. We should be quiet and we should be listening and noticing. You may notice you have a huge in-breath or a huge out-breath. You may notice that it feels like it goes into your back or into your front, or you breathe into your feet. All of this is really interesting. And if we have theories about where we should breathe, then we put that on top of an extraordinary wisdom that lives in the garden of your body. So we shouldn't charge in and start telling everyone what to do. Yeah. I mean, as an Italian, that's what I do all the time. Charge in and tell everyone what to do. And I've discovered that it's not helpful at all. At all. Yeah. So we're just listening now. You're listening to, okay, how's my rib cage feeling now? How's the breath? So let's a little bit at the lower part of the spine. So bend your legs. You have something under your head. This time take it away. So there's nothing pushing your head up. Feet flat on the ground. Yeah. Arms on the floor or across your chest, how we were before, whatever you like. And we're going to let the spine be like it is, a river running through your garden, And the river has a tail that goes out and is very huge and very long, and the tail has wings, and those wings begin to go up. So the tail begins to go up, which means that you start to push down with your feet and reach with your knees, and your pelvis tips. I'm doing it here with my hands. And the whole thing starts to go up. And so we let that go up. We let that go up. And the tail between your legs is going up. So your spine is hanging like a chain or a string of pearls. It's not a flat board that you picked up. And you're rolling up, and you keep going up. Keep going up. Don't let the knees go too far away from each other or too close to each other. You keep going up, and as you roll up, sometimes at certain moments you have to reposition your head. You keep rolling up till you feel like, if it's possible, you've gone very high up, right at the top of your ribs. You're very, very high up, high up, high up, high up. It's marvelous. High, 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 high up. Don't hold. This is one of the yoga poses where there's no end. It's not a stopping pose. It's an endlessly going pose, like a hyperbola. And there's a moment where you're still going up, but you're already coming down, like the wave on a beach. It's washing up the beach, but there's already an undertow pulling the wave back into the sea. And in fact, our breath is like that. The in-breath contains the out-breath. The out-breath contains the in-breath. And there is a pause to the waltz of the breathing, but it's at the out-breath. And so we've landed again, and in the pause, there is already the energy to be going up again. Let it accelerate, and up you go. Your tail goes flying up, flying up. Flying up, huge projection of your tail into the sky, rolling way up onto your spine. And then when you're at the very top, you're already coming down as you hang from the ground. That's it. So you're already coming down. Very, very nice. So I just checked, huh? So it's going a little bit this way. Your feet are turning out a little bit. So let's see if you turn them in just a little, which will put you slightly more this way. Just see if that's helpful. And it's the same for German. So, attends. So, plus que tu fais, tu vas toujours plus comme ça. Alors, on va se mettre plus comme ça. With the toes in. Now try. Up you go. Yeah. Ça va? Oui. And this is really good, but you could, I'll show you your pattern, go up again. So it's more like you're doing abduction like that, come down, which is fine. But so it has also to do probably how your legs work, your muscles. So try to go up, but to come this way, like you have a friend holding your knees. You feel the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not too much effort, but try. So it's almost like your legs are rotating in. Do you feel? Now go back down. Yeah. It's very nice. It's like this could be more alive. Right here. Push here. Touch me here. Yeah, come up. Touch me. That's it. You feel? And it gets all wobbly, right? And very unstable, which is nice. When you discover you're doing something that you're really not sure how to do, like writing with the other hand, that's very rich for the body. Very nice. So on the next time that you are at the top, make a sound on your way up. As you travel up, and accelerate a little bit. And when you're at the top, stay there for a minute, continue to go, and then let your arms float straight up, vertical. Reste là. Voilà. Yeah, vertical. That's it. And then try to be on the whole foot. Yeah. And when your arms are up, you may discover that you can go a little higher. Yes. A little higher. That's it. And then leave your arms there like you're hanging from the sky and come down. Tu restes là. Tu restes là. Mais tu descends là. Yeah. Okay. Just a little tricky. If we slow down too much, it gets a bit hypnotic and then it's no longer very real. So let it flow. It's like throwing a ball. You flow up, you hang there with your arms, and then you come down. Yes. And the next time you're at the top, you're going to, before you come down, you're going to let your arms go all the way over your head to the floor. So at home, if you need to widen your arms or have some cushions under your arms, you can just put them, go and get, like what Henriette has done here. You can put something to support whatever you need. It doesn't need to be symmetrical. It can be, but it doesn't need to be. So now the arms are over the head, very near each other or very wide, it doesn't matter. And you go flying up, les mains là. Same thing, huge feet, huge toes, completely marvelous waste of time. Your tail goes flying up. Flying. The secret of this one with the arms over the head is to let yourself go much higher. And then on the way down, do not move your arms if you can. It's like the arms and the lungs are very quiet. They're at the bottom of the river. And you come down, it's a very powerful movement on those upper ribs. And you just quietly rest in this very powerful place. The breath, each arm learning to be heavy, learning to drop away. I can feel my right armpit is not as open as my left. Something is pulling, so I just wait, I just notice. Maybe my right fingers wake up a little. Huge feet, my tail goes flying again, rolling through my spine, awake in the feet, noticing each area. Then you get to these places where there's a, I don't know, you swallowed a big potato or an aubergine or a baguette has got stuck in there. And you notice that it's very crunchy or hard, or 4 or 5 vertebrae seem to all be stuck together. So you breathe, you let your tail take you. The more your tail goes flying, the more your head and your antlers and arms are heavy. Keep going up, keep flying. You probably went a little higher, but it doesn't matter. Huge breath at the top. And then releasing down. Allowing those bones to unravel. Allow the breath. Allow the ribs. Allow things to unfold as you come back down. And we're just going to let the arms, as we land, slide down the side of the body. If you need to lift your arms and come over, because don't force the shoulders through pain. Never do that. If it's painful, just lift the arms and help come all the way down so the arms are a bit lower than your shoulders. And the legs will roll to the left, Rest as you go. Notice what's changing. Let the breath. And the legs will roll to the right. Rest as you go. Notice the breath. Let the forearms and palms release to the ground. Like the deep inner part of your hand is like a mouth that is opening. The center of the hand in its weight is opening. And every finger is a river that makes your whole arm awaken. And it's like that river starts in the heart, travels through the lung, into the armpit, and down the arms, and out the fingers into the ocean of the world. My legs go to the left again. And this time my right arm floats up, and I'm almost lying on my right side, so I'm doing it here. You can be slightly more on your back, or more on your side, or you can play with variations, it doesn't matter. Let the head really hang over. It can hang off your shoulder, or it can rest on your arm, whatever works for you. And the flying arm is beginning to move, just the arm at the shoulder. It's beginning to make circles. It's beginning to go up towards the face and down towards the hips and up. And then the arm can come forward towards the floor. So you're completely on your left side. And like we did last time, the arm can also go back, and it can open your rib cage towards the floor. So I'm just playing over here. Also, the head can follow. The arm can stay straight, or you can bend at wrist and elbow. But it's like the interest of the hand and its fingers is what's moving. I'm not moving from the belly. I'm moving, it's the periphery, it's the world that is attracting my arm. And I can move from my fingertips, or I just move from my elbow. And there'll be a moment where you may want to go to the other side. So the legs go, and then the arm goes up. And it's really up to you. All those different directions are valuable. So way forward, up towards the head. You can be more on your side, slightly more on your front, more on your back. So what we've done is we've put the legs in a position, they've rolled over to the right, and then we're just allowing the upper body, led by the arm, to articulate up and off the pelvis. We talked about this last time in relation to triangle pose. We're lifting the upper body off the pelvis, which is something that we all need and we're all losing as we crumple into the internet. So just keep opening, keep moving the rib cage from the head. Change sides with the legs. Yeah, so obviously there comes a moment where things can speed up. So the arm and the legs can begin to roll you. Yeah. But you don't need to roll as a block. You can lead with your arms, you can lead with your legs, and the arms follow. Yeah. So we're just going to start to make this side-to-side rolling, which we did last time, and I'm doing it here. Yeah, you might want to have a look. I've bent my legs a little bit. You know, I'm adapting all the variations we've done so far. Yeah, and it's like it's like a boat that's rolling on the waves. Yeah, and of course you can start to come up to sitting like this. Yeah, more rolling and less stomach muscles. Yes, and keep rolling. Yeah, and you use your elbow. That's it. And breathe and do it your way. Enjoy. Yeah. Yeah. That's it, Henriette. There's something about the middle of your back. The spine is not a stick. The upper and the lower spine relate to each other, but they're very, very different. And the middle, the lower ribs, that's it. The lower ribs become part of how you roll to, yes. Ha, 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 ha. Very nice, everyone. Very, very nice. Yeah. Take your time, then have a pause, and then do it again. Just take your time. What's very lovely is I see the weight, and the weight is rolling, and the effort is almost like a blossom of the weight, rather than me seeing a shape that you have to make. I see you roll, and the weight kind of travels through the body, and then you could roll and sit up or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, how is that?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I love that movement. It's like a modern bed.
It is, actually, it is. Yeah. Yeah, the rolling to sitting is very much from the work of Moshe Feldenkrais. But of course, there's like 40,000 million yoga poses in there.
Oh,
yeah.
More.
Think about it. Yeah, well, it could even be more, but that's only the number I counted so far. Yeah. So have a break, feel where you are. Yeah. Just notice. Yeah, that's nice, Jeremy. You could stop on your back or on your side or sitting up, it doesn't matter. Just notice. Just notice where there is now movement. Notice where there is now breath and availability and awareness. Awareness. And, if you look at all the classes, I don't want to give the impression that there aren't more complicated or fun or outrageous positions like wrapping your leg around your head and balancing on your head and all of these wonderful things, which would be easier to do if we weren't all online together. And this movement that we're doing, if you notice, is actually very deep. And it requires a kind of effort and energy, it's different from efforting. But it also becomes the bedrock of deeper exploration, so that you are really building your house on rock and not on sand. Getting to know the garden of your body and getting to discover how we come to ever deeper movements through non-doing and undoing, rather than controlling and muscle building. Very important also. Yeah, but this is a different feeling. Okay, so in a similar vein, but we haven't really done this before in these classes, I don't think. We're going to lie on our front. I think maybe I'll lie this way. It's up to you, yeah. Maybe it's easier to see.
Yeah.
So we're lying on our front. And if it's comfortable, just put yourself up on your elbows, if that's comfortable. Voila. Yeah. Like a sphinx. Yeah. Like a sphinx. So you're just up on your elbows. Yeah. And if you have lower back trouble, you get worried by your lower back and you start to feel it when you're at the computer all day, you could consider lying on your tummy and putting your computer there and working a bit, or reading a book on your stomach like this, because it's wonderful for where it takes the relationship of the lower spine to pelvis to legs. Now, as we rest on our elbows, if it's not comfortable, just lie down. But as we rest on our elbows, we're just going to let the head direction orient up a little bit. So I just have my antlers and my branches coming out of my head. And I open my imagination so there's a gentle upward movement, very gentle. And as I open that upward movement, I really allow my fermenting organs in my lower thorax, my stomach and liver and intestines and colon, all of that, my duodenum, all of that, I let it all hang towards the floor. So my antlers are going up, my spine direction is going up, but the whole bag of organs, all these organs, most of these organs, live inside an amazing bag called the peritoneum. It's a very, very sophisticated, awake membrane that contains most of these organs, half of your liver. And that bag is then encased in a kind of a duvet and eiderdown of layers of fat and nervous tapestry. So we just let all of that hang to the floor as my antlers go up. So my head is going up and my belly is hanging down. Yeah. And if my belly hangs down, then it's going to make a gentle pull or massage on my tongue and my throat and my heart and lungs, which are all part of that belly river, of that visceral river. So my head goes up, but all of this heavy organy world is hanging down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down to the anus. All the way down, even into the inner thighs, like you could imagine your inner thighs are organs, have this visceral aliveness to them. Now I start to lose my antler direction and I'm still on my elbows, but I let my spine sag between my arms until your head sags down and your antlers sag down. So it's like something has sagged down in a wonderful way, but the bony props are still going up. Like a tent that's not been pitched properly. And just rest there. You can let your head lollop from side to side. And then, no tension, but slowly my antlers develop eyes and noses and want to see and smell the environment, and they start to go up. No tension, and they start to look around to the left and up and to the right. I got my left and my right confused. And the more the antlers go up, the more I let the belly hang down. So I really allow, that's very beautiful. Can you feel? It's a very profound division between what is resting and what is going up. Otherwise, I go like, I have a Bruce Lee moment. Yes. Which is wonderful too, but different. So really letting all of this hang down. It's very heavy. And then just allowing the cranial bones to develop halos and wings and branches, winter roses. Up you go, up you go, up you go. And this time, as we come down, the elbows get out of the way and we come down, all the way down, all the way down to the floor. And just lie there for a bit on one side of your face, and then after a few breaths, lie on the other side of your face. Now you will notice that your whole rib cage and all of that into the neck needs time to release to the floor. I'm going to turn my head to the other side. So I'm supporting a little bit with my hand at my eyebrow and with my other hand near my ear. I'm just supporting because I know if I just hold my head a tiny bit, it will release into an even deeper twist in the neck as I turn my head to the right. Is that okay? And we can change position again, really ever more resting on the visceral river, resting on the deep front of your body. So the back of your body is resting on the front, and you're just not worried about how flat you should be or how long you should be. Okay, so mobilizing the upper body, fine. Now, the right leg, let's start with the right leg. If it's too complicated on the right, you can use the other one. But my right leg is going to start to grow long, and it's going to start to kind of move towards the left leg, and it's going to start to go over. And then it's going to let go and flop back. I'm doing it if it's not clear what I said. Then my left leg is starting to wake up and move and get long, and it starts to go towards my right leg. And then it starts to go over, and it starts to go a little bit further. Now I'm very heavy in the upper torso, in the heart and lungs, face and tongue, and the leg is traveling, and then it releases and it comes back. And then my right leg starts to go over my left leg. Yeah. If you lift it too high, you do a different movement. So keep it close to the other leg. If you lift it too high, it goes all into the buttock and sacrum. Keep it close to the other leg and the ground and the breath. Now I'm going further. There are many different arm positions, so it's up to you. And the leg is taking me further. So what you want to do is you don't want to roll again like a cucumber, but you actually want the leg to be out of the way of the heart and lungs. And then that takes in noticing and We have? They're waving. Sorry? Yeah, you continue. Yeah, that looks beautiful. Henriette, that's great. And let's see, it's so wonderful the way you have your shoulders like that. Everyone, yeah, here. Is that comfortable?
Yes.
Jeremy, that looks very good for your lower back. We're back? Yeah, sorry the train went by again. But we've been doing this movement for the last 4 hours, so I think it's okay. This is really nice, you see. Tu restes là, comme ça, et quand tu fais ça, tu bouges vraiment là où il y a un peu une... Just easy. Tu sens? That's very good. And then you go back. And then don't push weight. You rest there and you grow. You feel the difference? Tu restes là et attends. Et tu viens ici. Yeah, that's it. Wow, that was amazing. That was really quite amazing. You're probably 3 meters tall now. And right there. And the breath. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The breath, so stay heavy there. Stay heavy in your chest. And then the more you get heavy in your chest, the more the leg gets pulled. Yeah. This is how your guardian angel pulls your leg. It's part of what these angels do because they like us so much. So you stay there and your leg goes. Yeah, do you feel? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You mustn't come completely into your leg. You stay heavy. That was beautiful. Up in the chest. Wonderful. And then rest. And then rest. And then rest. Hi, little gendarme. Look at that. Yeah, the breath, the weight, noticing how deeply things are starting to unravel. Very nice. Very, very nice. Linked to these very deep movements in gravity, very often there is a shift in mood. It's like the deep brain, the reptilian brain, allows the middle brain to make this mood shift. So we remember things, little pocket of memory comes up. And then there is a change, and you realize, oh, okay. So we don't need to control or hold on to, but we just let ourselves notice. Yeah. So the triune brain, the surface, the cortex, the middle, and then the reptilian brain, they're always talking to each other. Yeah. And when the movement is very liquid and full of micro movement and is supported by the visceral space, very often in my experience, I notice, and I see it in others, I notice that there's a shift in mood. Also, the whole tonality of the body, especially the back, has changed. Yeah. And that's something to rest into. It's like resting into a jacuzzi. Okay. So when you're ready, just coming up slowly onto your hands and knees. And we'll pick up this main movement that we've done a lot of, which is the squirrel with the tail up. We're just going to slide forward. We're going to curl the toes under. And you don't always have to, but I find that it gives clarity and support. And we're just going to slowly let the spine drop through. And you go into as much length as you can. Yeah. Non, tu restes là. Tu viens ici. Et après, là, just stay right there, and then you drop. That's it. Ça va? Yeah, and you just drop through. No stretching, don't do anything major, just to help integrate what we've done so far. So you're really resting on your knees, and then you're letting your spine drop through towards the forehead and the elbows. Now we're just attending to this deep, passive kind of back-bending movement that we've made. Very safe, very deep. If the shoulders are uncomfortable, just adjust the arm position. Yeah, well, you can tuck under. You shouldn't be at all uncomfortable. And then we're going to close by slowly walking backwards into child pose. So just very slowly coming back, one at a time. Keep coming back, yeah. And focus on the weight of your sit bones. So as you go back, the sit bones are heavy and they drop towards the heels. And you can be arms forward or back, whatever's comfortable for you. Very uncomplicated. If this is a problem for breathing or blood pressure or eye pressure, you can be up on a chair. And then we're just going to take hold of the heels. If you're able to do that, you put your hands around your heels. And you're just very gently going to pull in so that the forehead tucks in towards your knees. Yeah, your chest may come up a bit. Don't force. Sometimes in yoga, this is called the rabbit. Yeah, you just curl in. And at the very end, if it feels okay for you, you can actually suck your belly in and hold what in yoga is called the bandhas. So the pelvic floor and the anus, the breath area, the diaphragm, the top of the chest, the throat, the floor of the mouth, the back of the tongue. You suck it all in and just hold for a moment, like you're squeezing a sponge, and then let go, and then let go, and the breath, and let the arms begin to travel forward in front of you. And eventually, yeah, come into length all through the breastbone and chest. Yeah. And we'll finish just before we stand up and close. We'll just finish with your long and forward, heavy in the sit bones, but we're going to put one hand on top of the other and just rest the forehead on the hands so that the neck is a bit curved in its normal neck direction. Yeah. Breathe. Let yourself rest into those joints, the ankle, the knee, the hip, into the fold that the legs are making. Let the spine rest on the organs, so the whole thing is draped over your legs. Beautiful. Just looks very beautiful. Great. And then we'll just come up to standing. Take your time. So we're just a little over time, but take your time just to come up to standing. And once you've oriented and you're on your feet and you can feel the weight in your feet and your head is on top, we'll just make a small, just very oily, very soft pendulation from side to side. Very easy. And when you're ready, you just open your feet to the ground and open your senses to the space. Start to look around and notice. Yeah, and eventually we come to rest. That's very nice. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Giovanni.
Do you know how you
Thank you, all of you. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. I'm going to meditate here at Bonnevaux now. So if you meditate at home, you'll be joining in. And we'll see you next Tuesday. And of course, if you're able to make a small donation, please do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.